Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to our YouTube Live, folks. Unedited, uncensored, and exposed truth for all your global mobility requirements, whether you're looking to relocate or not to relocate. Plan B. Yes, I'm talking to my fellow Americans and anyone else out there who is interested in having a backup plan just in case things get a little bit heated up. Folks, what's the lowest cost program to obtain a residency in the EU region? Europe. You all may know about the Portuguese Golden Visa, the Spanish Golden Visa, the Greece Golden Visa, and all the usual culprits. But do you know about the program being offered in Cyprus and Bulgaria? Yes, they're both part of the EU. Bulgaria has the lowest entry program into the EU region, and Cyprus has both a real estate and a non-real estate option as well, still lower than the typical 500,000 euro threshold that many other EU countries have for an investment that could lead to direct residency, such as a golden visa. It's definitely worthwhile exploring today, and that's why we've scheduled this live stream. Of course, you can ask us any questions about any program that we're handling in our YouTube live question and answer period right after this quick presentation. Of course, there's a lot to cover because it's two programs, two countries, Cyprus and Bulgaria. So total of 4 programs. So I'm going to go fast. Okay. We're going to review the eligibility, criteria, benefits, and advantages and disadvantages of these programs, which are not marketed or offered as much as the other information before you. Okay. That's the key. And I'm going to go fast. So later on, if you're watching this maybe another day, you can put it on slow motion. Okay. So I do apologize in advance. Quick introduction. I'm Reza, the CEO and founder of Ingwe Immigration, your gateway to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th residencies and citizenships. No matter to which country, no matter if you want to move or not, you need a backup plan. We're thrilled to expand our portfolio offerings for a possibility of many countries for serious professionals, investors seeking residency and citizenship solutions. We've helped thousands of clients from over 55 different countries navigate the complex landscape of business and investment migration. Now we're bringing a whole new slew of programs to you, whether it's Panama, affordable tax-free business lifestyle, Dubai, the bling, Portugal for one of the most popular European residencies and flexible citizenship programs, Malta, the only EU country selling its citizenship program without residency requirements, besides Austria, the Caribbean islands, which are the mail order passports, direct to your home, Antigua, Barbados, St. Kitts Nevis, St. Lucia, Dominica, and Grenada, New Zealand, for the more sophisticated investor who wants a plan B in their back pocket, Portugal, of course, through our car collection investment fund. Don't invest just in any fund. Bulgaria, cheap EU residency leading to citizenship, we'll cover today, and Cyprus, with and without investment and options. And of course, we've got Canada. Who can forget Canada? And the Italian residency through investment, which is through an investment in the top Italian brands. So it's one of my favorite. Anyways, whether you're seeking fast-track residency, investment in real estate, or incorporating cross-border solutions, that's our expertise. We're not just visa processings. We're actually committed with a boutique-style service where we customize a solution for you and your clientele. We handle the government side, the language barriers, the time zone, and you're insured with us when you deal with us, dealing with any country in the world. Let's get started with the lowest priced EU residency being Bulgaria. Bulgaria has 2 specific programs which can be quite enticing to many overseas applicants and investors. One is the Trade Representative Office Program, so TRO, which is the lowest cost entry into EU, and another investor program, which is just the standard investment, but gives you some interesting options and an interesting citizenship as well for Bulgaria. So let's start with the TRO program, Trade Representative Office. It's not as publicly available. It's not so popular. It's not so marketed, but it is the lowest cost into the Schengen region. Yes, Bulgaria joined the Schengen region in March 2024. Fun fact. No investment. All nationalities are accepted. No restrictions. Very flexible residency requirements. So The purpose of this program is for an overseas company to explore the Bulgarian market for potential business opportunities through registering, quote unquote, an office, not another legal entity, right? But registering an office. And an individual they designate from anywhere in the world to enter the country as an official trade rep. It is a temporary residency program that can lead to permanent residency with minimal investment or any payroll. Bulgaria is part of the EU, as I mentioned, and real estate investment is also possible, but it still leads to temporary residency, and it's a significantly higher investment, and you end up getting the same thing that you get with a TRO, the trade representative program, which to us is one of the most cost-effective programs out there. So what are the eligibility requirements? Well, the overseas company, it has to be outside the EU, should be an existing and active entity, active for minimum 2 years with operational revenues and official financial statements, and no taxes owing to the government. No minimum requirement for the revenues or profits, but we usually like a $500,000 revenue or turnover on the financial statements to make it a strong case, as proposed, which is something that the Bulgarian government is considering changing and making it mandatory. The trade rep is the applicant who wants to move to Bulgaria. They don't need to be working for the overseas company. Yeah, I know, that blows my mind too. Nor do they need to be a shareholder or even on payroll. So you've got company A, I don't know, in the US, and then you got applicant X in, I don't know, Cambodia. And if there's a relevance of that person's profile that can help this company do some networking and business opportunity exploratory activities in Bulgaria, they can designate that person to move to Bulgaria on a temporary residency to represent them, right? So you do need some work, professional profile, work experience, something that kind of links the business to you in a way. There won't be any incorporation or legal entity in Bulgaria if you're worried about that. This means that the overseas company doesn't need to incorporate, right, or open a bank account in Bulgaria, or have any financial dealings. Only a registration as a trade representative office with the Bulgarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry is required to become eligible for this program, and a physical office location, no virtual offices. Of course, we'll take care of all that for you. A personal bank account for the trade rep can be opened when they enter, and that's voluntary, right? Obviously, I assume anyone who wants to be there wants a personal bank account. Visa-free EU travel. So the trade rep with the temporary residency can travel within the EU freely, right? They can stay probably, 90 days throughout the 1 year, just traveling throughout all of EU, because Bulgaria is part of the Schengen, as I mentioned. Each eligible overseas entity can, in theory, apply for 3 trade reps to enter Bulgaria. However, we try not to put 3, max 2, because there has to be huge justification why anyone. Yes, Angel, I like that. Good morning comment. But yeah, we like 2 trade reps max, although in theory you can do 3 trade reps for the company to send somebody over to Bulgaria as a trade rep. So what documentations are required? I'll go through this very quickly. A lot of financial documents from the company for the last 2 years, a certificate or declaration that no taxes are owing with proof, right? Profile of the company, brochure, website presentation, company incorporation and shareholder registry, an annual plan of what the activities the trade rep wants to do in Bulgaria will help you with that. A local office, company has to have a lease agreement, will help you with that. Local residential address, so the trade rep, when they enter, has to have proof of residency, so a secured accommodation. And again, cannot be virtual, but again, we'll help you with the tenancy agreement. The timelines to apply, well, and the process. First, we have to apply to the Bulgarian Chamber of Commerce and Industry to register the trade representative office. We have to have a physical office, have a lease agreement, power of attorney to our representation, representative office in Bulgaria. And then we will issue certificates and documents to send back to the applicant in their home country to apply through the embassy. Of course, police clearance certificates, proof of medical insurance, not exam, valid passport, birth certificate, national ID, documentation, demonstrate that you have the means to support yourself in Bulgaria, and of course the specific immigration forms. The trade representative will be applying by themselves in their home country, of course, with all the documentation that we sent to them from Bulgaria. It's all paper-based, no online process, so that's the disadvantage. All documents have to be attested by your Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Bulgarian consul in your home country, or apostille, depending on what agreements you have. To enter Bulgaria, the trade representative should obtain a multiple entry long-term type D visa from the embassy there. They enter within 2 weeks. They get the process done in Bulgaria to get a temporary residence ID, which will give them access to open a bank account, travel within the EU, and so forth. So that's the key. Folks, we're always posting about key details for investors, entrepreneurs, new programs, undisclosed programs that not a lot of people know, or those little loopholes that you may not be aware of. So whether it's residency, passports, or tax relief, we have the solution. You can subscribe to a YouTube channel. What's the validity for this temporary residency under the temporary trade representative office program in Bulgaria? It's valid 1 year. It's renewable, right? And the interesting thing is, if you lose the 1 year renewable status, you just reapply and you get another one. So it's pretty simple. You have to settle in within the first year. So the trade rep has to come and get their temporary resident ID, right? There's no specific requirement to be in Bulgaria the whole time for the trade rep, right? You just have to not be absent in Bulgaria 12 consecutive months, which means you enter on January 1st and you enter again on December 30th, in theory. So what we recommend is you enter once when you're getting the permit, and then 2 weeks before the expiry, so we can process your renew. That's it. And every year you can renew. And then, of course, it takes about 2 weeks for the renewal in most cases. And of course, you'll just need to provide proof of your residential address, Bulgarian ID, personal bank account transactions, any business networking research you've done, or sort of the activities throughout the year. There's no requirement to be on payroll for the trade rep, as again, there's no legal entity registered in Bulgaria. Children under the age of 18 and spouses can be included. If you have children that are over the age of 18, they could potentially be an additional trade representative. So you're the trade rep for a company, could be your own company too. And you've got, kids that are 28 years old, but hey, they've got a university degree and stuff, right? So we can just make them the second trade rep. You like that, didn't you? Yeah, I saw that. What are the residency requirements to maintain in Bulgaria? Well, again, as I said, you just need to not be absent for 12 consecutive months. So you come in at the beginning and you come in once at the end to renew. To convert to a temporary residency to permanent residency in Bulgaria, well, you actually need to spend time here. So 6 months within 12 months, or a total of 30 months in 5 years, not consecutive. So if you do want to get permanent residency in Bulgaria, then yeah, there's a process. But if you're happy with just having access to the EU, coming and going, and maybe even finding a job there eventually and then converting to become a skilled worker there, well, this could be it. But you can convert to permanent residency if you spend 6 months or half of the 5 years in Bulgaria, and you can convert to permanent residency. When you are a permanent resident, 5 years later, you could become eligible for citizenship. Of course, that requires language, citizenship interview, and of course, you cannot obtain Bulgarian citizenship through a permanent residency process if you own another. So you have to renounce that, gain the Bulgarian citizenship, and then you can reapply. So there's no restriction for Bulgarians having another citizenship, okay, being dual citizens or so forth. But somebody else who is gaining a Bulgarian citizenship through these programs cannot have another citizenship. Interesting. But you can apply for it and get it back after you're Bulgarian. I know it's a stupid loophole, but what can we do? And an interesting citizenship fact about Bulgaria is, if you as the parents or one of the parents gets a citizenship, regardless of age or marital status or dependency, all your children will become Bulgarian citizens. Whoa, that's pretty cool, right? So what does that mean? So it means that as long as one parent, both parents have citizenship, no matter where your kids are in the world and how old they are, and maybe they're 50 years old and they're married, your kids will also receive automatic citizenship. It's quite interesting, actually. So let's say you're looking for an investor program. You're like, Reza, you know what? I don't want to be a temporary resident, then a permanent resident, then a citizen. I just want to get a regular one. So you can do the investor program, similar to other EU golden visas, but there's a few nuances with the Bulgarian one, right? First of all, you get a direct permanent residency. The returns have been significantly higher with the Bulgarian funds. And And they're not the same as the other funds in Portugal and so forth, right? Because these funds are not for immigration program. They're actually funds that have been made for investors, and they're also allowed to accept investors who are not residents yet. So if you know, and I know, that immigration-based investment programs are usually overinflated. So that's a good thing with Bulgaria. They're not specifically made for immigration. They're actually just funds. Very flexible residency, all nationalities accepted, again, no restrictions. Annual renewal is every 5 years. So it's not annual renewal. You don't have to, like the temporary residency. With investor program, it's every 5 years. So the purpose of this program, again, is to gain direct permanent residency in the EU Schengen region by registering and investing in a managed fund in Bulgaria. Okay, it can lead to citizenship, or you just renew. Bulgaria is part of the EU, as I mentioned. Real estate options is also available, but that would only give you temporary residency. So we do recommend the fund if you're just looking straight out direct residency. Bulgarian lifestyle is low cost compared to the rest of EU, favorable tax rates to the rest of EU, and also corporate tax income can range anywhere around 10%, which is pretty competitive, especially for EU. So what's the investment amount? 500 to 12,000 euros in a registered investment fund. You can invest in other things like share capitals and private companies and all that sort of stuff, but those investments are higher or higher risk. So we usually just recommend that, unless you've got some great Bulgarian connections and you want to go the other routes. What are the steps and documents required for this? Well, pretty simple. It's about, takes 6 months. You can need a pre-clearance completed, and then the investment certificate is done, and then you submit your visa at your embassy with all the documentations, as I mentioned before, plus the investment. Everything has to be attested, similar like the other program. You enter Bulgaria with a multiple entry long-term type D visa, and you obtain your permanent residency card inside Bulgaria, and that also takes about 2 weeks. And then during that 2 weeks, you can even float around in Europe till your card is ready. What are the validity and renewal times for the investor residency in Bulgaria? It's every 5 years, and you have to maintain that investment for 6 years. And dependents under the age of 18 and spouses, of course, can be included. And if in order to maintain status for the 5 years, let's say, you just need to come in once at the beginning of the year and once at the end of the year. So you cannot be absent for 12 consecutive months. So you can be absent for 11 months and 29 days. Use your imagination. Citizenship eligibility, the same as the the trade rep office program. So again, 5 years later, you have to go through the language cultural exam. What are the benefits of having a citizenship in Bulgaria? Well, you can work, study, live anywhere in the EU. Visa-free, e-visa travel to over 170 different countries. You have E2 status, E2 visa status with the US if you choose to. And you can pass your citizenship on to all dependents without restriction of age, dependency, or where they live. So what are some of the other options in EU? Well, such as Cyprus. If you're not too interested in Portugal's golden visa backlog, Greece's overinflated real estate options, and the imminent risk that the EU will crack down on that specific program of one of these golden visa programs in the EU, then it would be worthwhile to look at the latest program from Cyprus, which is also both an investment option and an incorporation option. See, that's the key, folks. You got to have those options. Both are very unique and very different in their own ways. We'll start quickly. We'll go through this with the investment program, and then we'll cover the incorporation program, which is more cost effective because the money you put in is just your money in your own company potentially. And of course, we're going to come in and answer the questions, folks. I know Angel, Safa have been asking, putting comments there. So we're going to cover that. Whatever program you have a question, I'm here to help. So the Cyprus residency through investment. Well, as you know, Cyprus is part of the EU. It's not part of the Schengen, though. It's part of the EU. The program is based on investment and proof of financial strength of the applicant, right? It gives you a permanent residency and allows the family and the applicant to move to Cyprus and travel freely in the EU. It's a very flexible program, and you have a 10-year residency that renews in 10 years. So that's a very long program. It's excellent. The official timeline on the Cyprus website is that it'll take 2 months to get. It won't. There's a Like, I don't know if you call it a backlog, but it takes about 8 to 10 months right now. What are the eligibility criteria for the investment? 300,000 euros. Okay. So what should you invest in? Well, you need to invest in an asset in Cyprus, right? So it could be real estate, it could be share capital, could be any qualified asset in real estate. You also need proof of global income. So for an applicant, you need to show that you have at least 50,000 euros global income. And for your spouse, if you have a spouse, an additional 15,000 on top of the 50. And if you have children, for each child, you need to show an additional 10,000 euro income globally per year. So if you have a family of 4, then you're looking at potentially 65, 75, 85,000 euro proof of income. And you have to do a declaration that you don't plan to intend to work in Cyprus as the main applicant, unless you have shares in a company, because the rest of it, you're just an investor. What are the citizenship eligibility for Cyprus? Well, 3 years or 4 years after being a resident, you can apply for a citizenship within a 10-year period. So you can apply for 3 years if you have a high language ability of A2 in their language exam, or you can apply in 4 years if you have a lower score of B2. What are the benefits of a residency in Cyprus? Well, it's a direct permanent residency in Cyprus, which is part of the EU. No annual renewal required. It's every 10 years. Option to invest in real estate, other investment classes, share capitals, whatever. Spouse and dependent children under the age of 25. So children under the age of 25 can be included in your application for residency. And of course, last but not least, folks, bear with me, is the BFU program. So a lot of people don't know about this program, but I'm going to pitch it to you. Everyone pitches to you the most expensive. Well, we don't do that. This program, the BFU program in Cyprus, requires an incorporation in the BFU Business Facilitation Unit in Cyprus. So it doesn't actually require you to invest in real estate or a fund, but rather just in your own company or a company which is moving you to Cyprus, right? So you just have to register a company under the Business Facilitation Unit in Cyprus, transfer share capital of 200,000 euros to that company, could be your own company, and receive a job offer from that company, could be your own company again, and work in Cyprus on a work permit, which is part of the EU. Applicants can utilize their own eligible companies overseas. The work permit residency can lead to citizenship as well if they meet the eligibility. This route is very popular, and both large and small companies have been using it. It's a work permit program that can lead to citizenship. What are the eligibility? A foreign company or a newly registered company. Okay, so if you don't have a company, you can register a company. It's got to be in the BFU unit in Cyprus. Availability of funds for share capital transfer, proof of post-secondary education, right? For the position offered is required, right? Because if you have a managerial, highly skilled, and you don't have post-secondary, they may not accept you. Provide some kind of work experience, funds to be able to support yourself, right? What are the steps? Well, the foreign company has to register in the BFU, or a brand new registration in the BFU if you don't have a foreign company. An employment contract of minimum salary of 2,500 euros a month, transfer of 200,000 euros. Physical office in Cyprus will help you apply for a visa to enter Cyprus through the embassy in your home country. You arrive and then you apply to get a work permit in Cyprus. What are the eligibility? Well, it's the same thing as the investor residency. Within a certain timeline, like 10 years, you have to be able to fill and complete the language exam. So that's the most challenging part. What are the benefits of the Cyprus BFU program? Well, it's fast track, 3-4 months. Dependent children under the age of 25, family reunification. They can live and work in Cyprus, renewable work permit annually or 2 to 3 years. So your work permit, depending on your employment contract, can be renewed annually, every 2 years or every 3 years. And of course, you can become eligible for citizenship if you meet the eligibility, and Cyprus is part of the EU, so you can travel easily without a visa to the rest of the EU. Talking about immigration overload, folks, yes, I know we didn't even cover all the hidden options in Portugal, Italy, Malta, Spain, and other EU countries. However, we hope the Cyprus and Bulgaria information provided to you in this article, well, this video, will give you more options and avenues in case you're seriously considering a plan B or plan A for you. your family, your business, to move and operate from overseas. And remember, sometimes it doesn't even mean to move over, right? Which is why we call those Plan B. If you like Immigration Acts, creative immigration solutions, or key analysis of and exposed truth about immigration programs, policies, and updates, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're putting a lot of new programs on there. Keep in tune for Italy, that's coming up, and potentially some other exciting programs. And of course, thanks for coming on board today on our YouTube live stream. If you're watching this and you're wondering what I'm doing right now, well, I'm going to go in and look at the comments and questions we have and answer. So whether it's about Canada, Caribbean islands, or anywhere else, we're here to help. And folks, you can reach out to us in the description of this video when it's posted. We have a form, an intake form. If you want to reach out, you need help with any global mobility, residency, citizenships, our team is here to help. We speak over 10 languages, have helped clients from over 55 different countries, and we are insured and licensed. Sahil Malik, hi. Hello, Sahil. So I'm just reading through the comments here on YouTube. Vilas Desa, hi Reza. You said 3 months after submission to RCC question, I have received 2 requests. How was your team formed? It's from diversified countries. Submit medical. Okay. Why was the first question asked? Routine or agenda based? Interesting. No, it's agenda based, Vilas. When you have people from different countries, so I assume you are from the Indian subcontinent somewhere, and you may have applicants from different countries in your group. They want to see, okay, how did you meet? How did this group organically form? It is a concern by the IRCC. Folks, if you're watching this, this is a Startup Visa Canada question. Gojishin, is that Gojishin? Yeah. Good morning, Gojishin. Thank you for this live session. My question: has there been a recent update change where you can apply for an open work permit without an AOR for SUV essential members? Yeah. So there has been a policy update in October, Gojishin. So new work permits under the SUV program for essential members. As of today, again, in later this week or next month, if they change the essential, non-essential policy, that's different. But as of today, you can apply for an open work permit if you have not applied for a work permit yet under the SUV program. Chanakia Batra. Hi, Razon. Thoughts on this new in Canada draws in 2025? I moved back to my country in April 2024. I worked in Canada from 2022 to 2020. Do I qualify for it or not? Chanakia, to be honest with you, I don't know, because my team is handling that part. I specialize more in the investment and business migration, like SUV, golden visas, EB5. So I do apologize. We used to be able to do that a lot now, but our focus has changed. So unfortunately, I am not equipped to answer that properly for you. But yeah, you're right. The focus is inside Canada. So I apologize for that. Safa, hi Reza, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Safa. Good to see you. It's been a while. Rosita says hello, Reza June. Well, hello back, Rosita. Chanakia Betra, I qualify for the federal skilled trade last draw, which comes out and I had a score 433. Immigration News says that they will be focusing on trades, healthcare, and francophores. Do you think I have a chance? Yeah, if you are in the federal skilled trade or human capital stream in Ontario, if you get enough points, human capital stream in Ontario, for example, you need to be really in Canada with a work permit. You won't get enough points. But if you're in the federal skilled trades, perhaps, yeah, it's not easy to have the points in federal skilled trade if you're not in, but you worked here before, so you do have a chance. And again, getting in ITA in the next whenever it may be. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Again, as I said, that's more of a skilled immigration where focus is now more investment in business migration. Chanakia. Gojishen, does the RCC ever call the SUV PR applicant who are still overseas waiting for PR over phone to ask clarifying questions to verify things, how these startup founders met it? Yes, it's been done before, Gojishin. Not for all groups, but yes, there have been groups they've called out of the blue. And when they call, you just say if they can just, schedule a call or send you an email. But if you know the answers, it would be good to answer them. But you have to be in sync with your legal rep and all your group members. Chanakia says, my score is coming out to be more than 450 in federal school trade category. What are your thoughts? It's good. I like it. I like your odds, Chanakia. Chanakia, yeah. Gojishin, are you seeing any timelines for PR applications of startup visa Canada streams under priority processing where the applicants are receiving the AOR within 6 months? Yeah, we've had cases where they've received their AOR in, let's say, April, May, June, July, like in 5 months, 4 or 5 months. So the AORs are coming out sooner now because now you need that for the work permit. So we expect AORs under priority processing to be 4 to 5 months. Good morning, Reza. Trumping morning indeed. Angel, that's a good one. Safa Saleh, while we are waiting for the PR decision, we would like to submit a progress report for our business over the past 6 months. What would you advise? What is the best process of that? Is by attaching the report by web form or any other? Yeah, the web form, or if you have a portal with the RCC officer who's reviewing your case. The update should be legitimate and good. If it's wishy-washy or if it's not really tangible traction you've had, I wouldn't recommend submitting it. But if you've had tangible progress for your Canadian startup visa, yes. Nashwan Ali, hi Reza. Based on the latest immigration plan, could you please share your thoughts about the approval rate and processing time for the PR under SUV? Would the processing time be more than 40 months? Well, no. For the priority processing, our estimated time right now is 12 to 15 months. Non-priority could take a long time, but the priority processing, the way we're seeing it now is that a lot of these cases will have decisions within 12 months, sometimes 15 months. Angel, my kid got a photo mismatch letter from IRCC for his new PR card. It's 3 months since the new photo was resubmitted, but haven't heard anything. Should I wait or raise the web form? Raise the web form. Follow up, because these things get stuck in some stupid black box somewhere. Sayed Mortaza Hossein, I applied under the SUV program with priority designated organization. Good. Priority is key, Sayed. Safa, do you think the PR quote has reached the maximum for this year, or is there space for more? I think it's worse. I mean, they didn't do a lot of work in the beginning of this year. You know that. We all know that. So I think they're still processing. And we're gonna like literally reach the end of December. And I don't think they'll even hit their max this year. I mean, they'll try. They're not. Maybe they won't try, but they won't hit it. Chanakia, thank you as always. A great help. Truly appreciate it. No problem, Chanakia. Sorry I couldn't help further. Sava, I expect to talk about the cuts of PR for the next 3 years, cons and cons. Sava, I'll be very honest with you. Anyone who wants to come to Canada, you have startup visa today. In 3 months, you may not have it. So Canadian immigration is this thin. It's on thin ice. So whether it's a 3-year plan, a 2 or a 5, who cares? Because the government can change things overnight. So there's absolutely zero value of talking about a 3-year plan when they couldn't even figure out their original 3-year plan. They did a reverse U-turn. So so right now the key is you want to move. Well, there's a lot of other stable programs out there in North America, Central America, Europe, and so forth. Let's say, Reza, thanks for answering. So if it is an agenda based, why RCC asked for medical reports in the same email? Should the question about team members not be asked early in 2 years? What would be the answer? No, now their file is in front of them, so they'll ask you all the questions they need. They need everything updated. Right? Whether it's financials, medicals, how did you meet, everything. It's just one big shot. Sometimes they split it into 2 parts, but they're not going to time it like 2 years ago. They're going to ask you this and then a year. No. The officer has your file today. That's what now they're working on it. Before, nobody was working on it. There you go. So like literally it was just sitting in cyberspace on a computer. And if it was a file application, it was just on somebody's table. That somebody may have retired or died, but it was sitting somewhere doing nothing. Okay, that's the IRCC, the Canadian Immigration Department. So, folks, I hope you've enjoyed today's live. We did Bulgaria and Cyprus, the lowest cost residency options, plus the typical investment routes too, but some interesting options. We're going to cover some interesting programs in the coming weeks and months. Italy, we will definitely do an SUV Canada, because Startup Visa Canada, to me, seems the most logical option, and also to a lot of my clients. We'll do an update on that. We'll do some Italy. We'll do some loopholes on a Portuguese golden visa fund that you have never heard of, and will give you tangible assets unlike the other golden visa funds. So there's a lot of good stuff coming on. Sahil Malik, I got my ADR in August of this year. My PR timeline now for SVU, should I get decision this year? Yeah, you're not going to get a decision, Sahil, most likely. 99% it'll be next year, not this year. It's a little bit, unless they're really asking you questions and you're submitting documents and they're fast tracking you and they want to get you a decision by December, but it doesn't seem like that's happened. But again, folks, if you have Canadian startup visa questions, Caribbean citizenship, EB5 US, or any other questions on European residencies and whatnot, we will be back here with our video. So we're releasing a lot of videos. We are traveling overseas over the next few weeks, folks. We're going to be in Asia, Vietnam, China. We may come through Dubai, who knows? So we will be available. We were just in Miami just last week at an event. So if you're there, if you're a potential partner, if you're a potential investor or entrepreneur professional, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us. In the description of this video, when it's posted, everything is available. Or consultation links, or an intake form, or contact us form, everything. And yes, we are real human beings. We are not ChatGPT or bots. You will connect with real human beings. As long as you qualify and are eligible, we'd be happy to help you. Okay, folks? Thanks again. We'll see you soon. Yes, I am traveling, so unfortunately, the YouTube lives might be a little bit choppy over the next 3 weeks, okay? Or 4 weeks. Thanks again, everyone. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, apply with a plan. Don't just apply for the sake of applying. And always have all options open. Do your research. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye now.